случае. We'll now have the Bobun Show, which is the reading of the episode on White Ashes and Dhamma message by Reverend Kala.
I will now read a passage on a work written by the second founder of Gyodo Shinshu Buddhism, Renjo Shonin. It's called the chapter on the white ashes, Hakotsu no Sho. Please bow your heads in reverence. In silently contemplating the transient nature of human existence, nothing is more fragile and fleeting in this world than the life of man. Thus we have not heard of human life lasting for 1,000 years. Life swiftly passes, and who among men can maintain his form for even 200 years? Whether I go before others, or others go before me, whether it be today or it be tomorrow, who is to know? Those who leave before us are as countless as the drops of dew. Though in the morning we may have radiant health, in the evening we may return to white ashes. When the winds of impermanence blow, our eyes are closed forever, and when the last breath leaves us, our face loses its color. Though loved ones gather and lament, everything is to no avail. The body is then sent out into an open field and vanishes from this world with the smoke of cremation, leaving only the white ashes. There is nothing more real than this truth of life. The fragile nature of human existence underlies both the young and old, and therefore we must, one and all, turn to the teachings of the Buddha and awaken to the ultimate source of life. By so understanding the meaning of death, we shall come to fully appreciate the meaning of this life, which is unrepeatable, and thus to be treasured above all else. By virtue of true compassion, let us realize the irreplaceable value of human life, and let us together live the Nembutsu in our hearts. Humbly and respectfully, Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida, Namo Amida. On behalf of the Hongkong Mission of Hawaii, we would like to extend our deepest and sincerest condolence to the family and friends of the late KAZUMA Okumura. This is truly a difficult time, not just for the family and friends of the late KAZUMA Okumura gathered here today, but more especially the members of the Makawao Honganji Sangha who have known Mr. Okumura for many, many years during his long life. Because of Mr. Okumura's generous giving and kindness that has helped Makawao Honganji remain and maintain its continuing operation as the Kyogoshinshu Buddhist temple in the subcountry part of Maui. It is for this reason that the Makawao Honganji Sangha has requested a special Buddhist name called Ingo to be conferred to Mr. Okumura in recognition of his endless of selfless giving and support of this temple. The special Buddhist name is Jo Kun In, and this special Buddhist name is affixed to the Buddhist name that he received while he was still alive, which is Enmyo. Jo Kun In translates to one who nobly endeavored for the sake of others. A fitting name in acknowledgement of his endeavors for the sake of this temple. Shaku Enjo, on the other hand, means complete fulfillment. Shaku being the title given to somebody who has become a disciple of Shakyamuni Buddha. It means complete fulfillment, and ultimately in Buddhism it means the fulfillment of the goal of the Buddhist path, which is becoming a Buddha through birth in the Pure Land, by the workings of the primal vow of Amida Buddha. It is always a painful part of our lives to lose someone who means so much to us, be it a husband, wife, children, grandfather, grandmother, a close friend, and so on. Suddenly, that person who was one time a vibrant, living individual is no longer there. And sometimes the shock of the loss can be overwhelming. However, Mr. Okumura had lived a long life to an age that not too many people are able to reach in their lifetime. A long life which was attributed to his healthy diet of always eating fresh fruits and vegetables grown from his own farm and being active in both body and mind. A life of moderation. He was very much well with the teachings of the Buddha of the middle path. It was a life in close communion with nature, and therefore nature was supportive of the long life that he lived and enjoyed. Sometimes encountering death in the family make us think that it is so unfair. You might say, why did my husband, wife, child, parent, grandparent, and so on have to die? He or she was a good man or woman. The only support that I have, and so on, for many reasons. It is perfectly understandable to think and feel like that up to a certain point during the grieving process. Difficult though it is to say, death is the end of physical life as we know it. It happens to everyone, and death itself does not discriminate based on a person's personality or any other factor. We are born in this world knowing only life, but because our existence is the result of various causes and conditions, we also become subject to the law of impermanence. The Buddha taught that everything is impermanent. Things are always in a constant change of flux, changing moment to moment, and nothing lasts forever. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are the first four of the 8 types of dukkha, the suffering that the Buddha taught. these kinds of suffering, not to instill pessimism in us, but rather wisdom to enable us to look at life realistically and not from a deluded point of view. Understanding this important teaching of the Buddha on impermanence enables us to cope in times like these, like the loss of our loved ones, and accept our own mortality as part of our experience of living. In Buddhism, death is not a transition, a change. It is the moment that we leave the physical existence of this realm, and through Amida Buddha's primal vow, our salvation is realized through birth in the Pure Land. Mr. KAZUMA Okumura is no longer with us physically. We can no longer see his physical form or hear his voice, but deep in our hearts and minds, he lives on. His physical presence will be missed, but he will always be a part of this temple's ohana. His passing away is a sad occasion for his family and friends, but because of the Buddha's vow to save all sentient beings from the suffering of this world of unenlightenment, we can take comfort in the belief that Mr. Okumura is now at peace. He has become a Buddha, and he has no more suffering. Amida Buddha surrounds us with infinite compassion, and through the workings of the Buddha's benevolence, during times of grief and mourning on the loss of our loved ones, we are enabled to continue on with our lives with hope and courage. The same boundless compassion is what enables us also to be born in the land of peace and tranquility, forever freed from the cycle of birth and death and the suffering associated with it. Let us take this period of mourning as a time of reflection on the oneness of all life, the various causes and conditions, and the love and sacrifice of our ancestors, parents, immediate relatives and friends, and other people outside the family circle as well, that brought about our being born as humans, nurtured, and now living in the present moment. And so, we endeavor to live a life of gratitude, to reflect upon the life of Mr. Okumura, his generosity. It is something that all of us should emulate. To live this life according to the teachings of the Buddha. So, ever mindful of the many gifts and blessings that we receive in our daily lives because of the effort of others, it is our Buddhist attitude. We are saddened by the passing of Mr. KAZUMA Okumura, but we are comforted by his now being at peace. And so, once again, on behalf of the Hongkong Mission of Hawaii and the Macau Hongkong Temple, I would like again to express our sincerest and deepest condolences to the members and extended members of the Okumura family, and to the many friends that knew and loved Mr. KAZUMA Okumura. And of course, a heartfelt thank you, mahalo, Mr. Okumura, for all that you have done for the sake of Macau Hongkong. Your kindness and generosity will never be forgotten. Namo Amida Buddha. Thank you very much.
Let us all rise and sing the continuing presentation. The words are in the program. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll now have the message of condolence by Mrs. Dorothy.
Hello, everybody. This is something that I'm not used to presenting condolence. Usually I do the other part, but I'll try my best. The story on the front page by Melissa Kanji, the staff writer from Maui News, was titled, "It Was Moderation." Fanny says man's healthy lifestyle contributed to his long life. Makawau's KAZUMA Okumura was 105 when he died on September 17. It was strange, a week before, I dreamt about Mr. KAZUMA Okumura. September 17, September 17, September 17. For 3 nights. So I must have talked in my sleep, but my husband was snoring so he couldn't hear me. When I first met Mr. Okumura, he was working in the fields on 50 acres. We had only an acre and a half. I cannot imagine Mr. Okumura working in 50 acres. My father and Kazuma-san were great friends. When I was in college, he used to tell me, that is, my dad used to tell me, work and play together with Mr. Okumura and his family. But the distance between my parents' home in Ulupalakua on the ranch and Mr. Okumura's home in Olinda, Makawao, kept us from seeing each other except for once a year. That once a year was at the Kenjin-kai. Kenjin-kai means the prefectural group. At that picnic, which was held only once a year. I remember as a youngster how exciting it was to receive Mr. Okumura's pumpkin. Our pumpkin is like this. His pumpkin was like that. And therefore, every time we received pumpkin, the people on the ranch, cowboys, used to call me, "Hey, Bobora, hey, Bobora." Bobora in Japanese colloquial language means big and fat or pumpkin. Although we grew the vegetables Mr. Okumura and his family grew, Mr. Okumura's produce was much, much bigger. I'm sure Mr. Okumura won many prizes at the Maui County Fair. Colin Okumura, one of his grandsons, who was his caregiver for Mr. Okumura for 7 years, attributes his grandfather's longevity to eating vegetables, and fruits. He did not care for meat He seldom ate fish. It was vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. During mealtime, if he didn't see vegetables on the table for the family to eat, he sent his children out to the farm, go and get the vegetables. We're not having dinner until you pick up all the vegetables for the family. But Mr. Okumura had a motto: we can eat all the vegetables that we want, but we must do it in moderation. His famous motto was, everything has to be done in moderation. He ate, maybe you don't like this, but I grew up like this, like Mr. Okumura. He ate avocado every day. Some of you know, if you lived with him or you visited him, the first thing he put on the table was avocado. So if you didn't eat avocado, you couldn't eat anything else. Growing vegetables and fruits took up much of his time, and it gave him lots of exercise. He made sure that his children, he had 6 in all participated in planting, harvesting, and selling the products at the weekly Maui swap meet. It was a lot of hard work, but he believed that hard work never killed any man. Amazingly, he also started bus service. Never a dull moment in his life. Colin, where are you? Okay, stand up, please. Colin, his grandson, remembers his grandfather very well. His grandfather expected Colin and the rest of the family to eat vegetables every day at mealtime. And if there was not any vegetable, who had to go out? Colin. He said, Colin. No child, I think Colin you know very well, ever complained if he did not have meat. Mr. Okumura seldom, if ever, ate meat. Once in a while he ate fish, but it was vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. Thank you, Colin, for taking care of Grandpa. I saw Colin taking Mr. Okumura out on rides every day for 7 years. I saw Colin every week with his grandfather. Mr. Okumura enjoyed the beauty of the sky, the clouds, the ocean, the mountain, the vegetable farms, the fruit trees, the peach trees. The peaches he donated to Macau Hunganji Mission so they could make money by selling people peach. Mr. Okumura, in addition to farming, was active in the community. He not only donated peaches from his farm to Makawa Hunganji Mission, he was also a former president for this church, Makawa